What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, we got our lawn mowed, and I am extremely grateful to our neighbor. He came over and mowed it about a week ago. You guys know how tall it was getting. It was outrageously tall. And then my parents brought me a push mower that they had that they aren't using anymore. So I'm able to keep up with it now with the push mower, which I'm like literally have to walk like 2 miles to mow this all with a push mower, but it's better than nothing. But a huge shout out to my neighbor for coming over and just doing it. Like, it was the nicest gesture from him to come over and do that. Like, we are so grateful. Keep the snakes down, keep the bugs down, because as you guys know, it's snake and bug season. So I'm really grateful for him for doing that, and glad that now I can kind of keep up with it. But today I'm super excited. It has been a long time coming to show you guys a full property tour of our property, and we're going to be doing that today on this bike from Ad Motor, which we are super excited about. We've been loving it, riding it around all over our property, taking the dog on the walk. Maverick likes riding on it, loves going down to the pond and all that stuff. But we figured we haven't shown you guys our property, I don't think ever. So we're going to take the bike out. We'll show you guys how well the bike works, and then we're also going to kind of show you guys the property, what some of our ideas are for it. We're getting into spring, summer, and so we're hoping to get some of these bigger outdoor projects done, especially with being so close to being finished on our house on the inside. We've still got a lot to do on the outside of our house, but our main focus is get the inside done, get some projects done outside, and then when it cools off, then we're able to do the rest of the outside projects. So stay tuned for that. We're excited about that. I'm going to jump on here. We'll ride this down. We're going to start off by looking at the pond, show you guys that, kind of the ideas on that. Some of you may have seen our other videos about the pond, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But while we ride down there, let me tell you guys a little bit about this bike. Get it turned on here. Oh, there we go. So it's got a bunch of different settings here. You can see your watts, your mode. There's eco mode, speed, the battery life. We have gone 24 miles on this bike, and it has, I believe it says about an 80-mile range. So on a single battery charge. So I've charged the battery as we've used it, but I have never run out of battery every time we've ridden it. I think I've charged it twice, y'all, and never had to do it again. You can see I mowed a little bit of a strip here so we could get past here, because yeah, everything is growing super tall and super fast. So the bike has got a whole bunch of different settings. It has like pedal assist, or you can just do no pedaling and just do throttle, or you can just pedal without the throttle. So it literally is everything you could want in one. But let me show you guys the pond here real quick. A lot of you guys have maybe seen this on the channel already. We haven't done a whole bunch with it, but there's a lot of stuff that I do want to do with it. Let me show you guys. Okay, Zan, we get it. Well, yep, we get it. Zan is down here thinking, what in the heck are you doing? Where's Goose? Because we always come down here with Goose. Well, I didn't bring Goose this time. And so now Zan's like, where's my friend? Where's my friend? But y'all, this is the pond that we have. I'm not sure how big it is. 1/8 of an acre. I really have no idea. It's kind of a mud hole right now. All of the dead leaves, and we had all that flooding earlier this year, which we have all of these massive debris piles that I need to probably come down and burn. But we got bass in here. We got catfish. We got ducks every once in a while, all sorts of stuff. But this is one of those projects that I really want to make look better. We want to build the dock down here. We've obviously got this little boat, and I want to dig it out, make it a little bit deeper, make it a little bit bigger. Fingers crossed we're going to get to that this year. Y'all, there are so many projects and fun things that I want to do, and this is definitely one of those. But then there's other projects that take priority, so we haven't gotten to this yet. If you saw our video last year, I cut down these trees. They fell into the pond. I was trying to drag them out. Never got around to actually finishing that. We got busy. It got winter. We had the babies. And so that project kind of got halfway done. But I want to come in here, kind of clean up the trees along the bank, make it so there's a little bit more sunlight, but we still have a shaded area. And I'd love to build like a picnic area down here where we can just like come down, have a fire, have the dock, go fishing, bring the boys down. I think it would just be absolutely fun. And maybe even a little bit of swimming in the summertime. I think we could swim in there. Let me show you guys this. So it's got blinkers if you're going to be riding this on the streets or on the sidewalks or anything like that. It's got a light. It's got, this is your speed controller here that you can switch through and pick different modes. So different passengers, different speeds, different, basically, yeah, there's different modes. If you're going to do the pedaling, if you're going to do the non-pedaling, all of those different things you can change on here. This has got your miles per hour. Like I said, it shows your how far you've gone, what your battery life is, and all of those different things. It literally gives you all the information you need when riding a bike. So this is a hog trap that I set up last year. I don't think I ever filmed that. If you guys can see that, we had major hog problems last year. We actually have not had any this year. We've been grateful for that because the hogs, literally, they just come through here and ransack the entire place. So we haven't had any this year, which is great, but we still have the trap up from last year. So maybe I'll take it down. I'll probably just leave it because eventually sometime them hogs are gonna come wandering back up here. Let's go check out my food plots. So last year, you can see this clover came in really good. Last year, I tilled up a bunch of our land and planted it in a bunch of food for the deer and turkeys and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if the turkeys are really using it. We've only seen one turkey down here, but the deer used it all fall and they aren't really using it right now either. So it is what it is, but it looks really pretty. This is kind of on the back side of our property. You can see all the clover and the flowers, just beautiful. There's my fake turkey. And it's all really thick woods back there. So back here, I would love to build kind of a duck pond where we can plant like some sort of grain, you know, rice or wheat or something along those lines. Back on the back property, dig it down, build another pond back along this section, because these trees are awful. They are literally just straight spikes. All of these trees are just like this one, and I don't know if y'all can see that, but they are just the thorniest, meanest, nastiest trees I literally have ever seen. So we want to get rid of a bunch of them. I think they're probably invasive. I don't know if they are. They definitely seem invasive because this used to be an open pasture and now it is completely covered in those like thistle trees. I don't even know what you'd call them, but absolutely awful. You can't walk through it. You can't do anything. So I want to take out some of those and then make it more of a place that we can welcome more wildlife to, more ducks and that kind of stuff. Hopefully all of these major project update videos out here are going to come. They'll probably kind of come all at the same time because we got to rent a bunch of heavy equipment. We're going to get excavator and skid steer and a loader and all of that kind of stuff and kind of just do all of the different projects kind of at the same time. We'll probably rent the equipment for a week, and me and whoever else I can get to help me will work on just completely getting all of these huge outdoor projects done at the same time. Let's go look at the other food plot that I planted, which is way better looking than this one. I've been doing a lot of experimenting, y'all. I have never farmed. I've enjoyed being a cattle rancher for a little bit. I did that for a year or so right out of high school, and I enjoyed that. Farming is new to me though, so I'm learning you know, fertilizers and soil pH and all of that. I don't know if you could call it fun stuff, but all of that fun stuff. And so this food plot, this area right here, I didn't use any, this was just the natural soil, and unfortunately our soil here is not great. It does not really have very much nutrients. The soil pH is way off. And so in this other area I'll show you, I actually did some soil pH stuff and added fertilizer and lime, and it grew a whole lot better than the other one. So this is all wheat down here, and there's more up over here. Let's go look at it. So all up here, and then there's some paths up over there, paths down here. Guys, it is the coolest thing to have my own wheat growing. It just barely started to like grow the seed head, I guess you could call it. So it's not like drying out or anything yet, but we're hoping. Y'all leave a comment down below if you'd like to see us do a video where we actually harvest our own wheat that we planted. We'll grind it up and we'll make bread out of it. We're gonna try and do that. If you guys think that would be a fun video, maybe we do it as a cooking with Crandall, where I'll come down here, harvest our wheat, do everything, and make bread out of it. I really want to give it a try. So hopefully this wheat will finish the way it's supposed to. It'll get good seed heads and we'll be able to do that. But yeah, this is the kind of directly across from our house. And I'm probably going to plant something similar to this again this year. Once all this stuff dies, then I'll replant it in something else. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I love having the food for the wildlife, that they can come down here, eat it. We get to watch the wildlife. Like, it is so cool. I've completely, absolutely just loved this bike. It literally goes anywhere. I treat it probably a little bit rougher than most people would, and we have not had any issues with it. Literally, it like gives you all of your display, like I was telling you. The suspension, the horn, the lights, everything about it, I just absolutely love. So now that I've kind of gotten into farming, you guys saw those 2 food plots that I've done. You can see the wheat right here. I'm like, man, I want to do some more of it. So I think what we're going to eventually do is actually plant this entire pasture behind me in something. I'm thinking maybe corn or sunflowers, something like that. The deer, the doves. Basically everything likes those kinds of foods, so we may do that down the road. But I got to get a tractor first, because as you guys know, our lawnmower blew up, and that's what I was using to cultivate this ground. So I'm going to try my hand at being a farmer again sometime here down the road. We'll probably do all of this in the fall and plant it for the fall through the winter. But this is the basically probably the highest point of our property. It dips down over there, dips down back that way, which is the pond. We have a dry riverbed, I'll show you guys, that runs through the bottom of the property over there. And then the house is back over there as well. So let's go take a look over here at the river. Here's this dry creek river. This basically only gets water when it rains, and it rains a lot. So it's dry 90% of the year. In the spring here, you know, if we get a good rainstorm, it'll fill up and wash down. But it is fun having a little bit of a creek on our property. But we also always have to be careful, because when it rains, it pours, and this thing will like flash flood and just wipe out everything along the bank. So we have to keep an eye on it, especially when it's raining. Make sure that we're not down there on it, playing on it. None of the kids are down there playing on it, because it literally does. It just turns into a flash flood, and just like that, the whole thing will be completely full of water. But in this area, we're basically not much we can do with it. I think maybe down the road, we'd love to. For those of you that don't know, I really like dirt biking. My dad likes dirt biking, my brother. We do a lot of dirt biking. So maybe down the road, when I get dirt bikes again, we'll come through here and kind of make a couple of little motorcycle trails, just really narrow, you know, not like come in and clear everything out, but just make it a path big enough to do a dirt bike track on. I think it would be super, super fun. I've always wanted to have my own property where I could dirt bike. I would love to be able to fly from my own property. That's obviously not going to happen on this property, but fish, hunt, be outside, and do all of those super fun things. And you know, Maverick has his little 4-wheeler, so we got to have a place for him to do that. So that is basically the entire back and side of our property. We'll run up real quick to the top corner of our property, which is where I actually want to put in a full-on motocross track with jumps and berms and like full-on thing. Here is where our garden is going to be, which it honestly should probably be planted by now, but right now it's planted in weeds. So I got to come through and kill all of these weeds off, and then we'll be ready to plant it. That's going to be coming up in a super soon video, probably in the next week, because I got to get this in the ground. But we're waiting on some parts for the irrigation for it, so that I don't have to water it, or I don't have to worry about watering it. It'll actually take care of itself. But this entire field up here is where I want to build a dirt bike track. So I've wanted to do a dirt bike track on my own land pretty much my entire life, because I think it'd just be so fun to be able to just come out, go riding, especially as Maverick gets older and we get him a dirt bike and he starts riding. And so I want to be able to build that out here for him. And this is where we're planning to do that, is in this pasture. And then just up over here, you can see we've got another couple little openings. And so I figure we'll just use all of these openings and put the track in kind of all across here and then over there by the house. So y'all, I am super excited for when we're able to do that. That'll probably happen as well when we get all of the equipment that we rent. But there are so many fun things that we want to do on this property. So we'd had quite a few people ask us to kind of give them a lowdown of what's going on the property and what our ideas are. We also, oh, let me show you guys this real quick. I forgot about this. This is like one of the main things. So I don't know when we'll get the dirt bike tracks and, you know, kind of that stuff done. So we plan on fencing this off as pasture before that point. And honestly, we'll probably fence it off so that the kids can't go there whenever they want, and we have a place for the animals. So in our front, we're actually going to fence this all in. This will be the new driveway. We're going to fence this entire thing in. This front area is going to be a pasture for goats or horses or cows or whatever you want, and that will go up to the road, if you guys can see that right there. So it'll be kind of this first block right here, and then we'll fence off this whole pasture and then the pasture back there that I was showing you, and that will be able to keep our chickens, our ducks, our goats, and whatever other animals we might get down the road. That will be for them. And then we'll kind of build our stuff in there, because we can have the dirt bike stuff and the jumps and stuff like that, and we can move the animals, you know, to a different pasture when we're actually using it, or vice versa, and they can keep the weeds down on there while we're not using it. But this is kind of my dream or vision for this property. So now that we're Siri's talking in my pocket, y'all, now that we're getting closer to getting the house done, I'm starting to actually really think about what we want to do on the rest of the property, because as soon as we're done on the house, we can then start to focus our attention more out here, which, y'all, I am extremely excited about. Those of you that know me, I like to spend all of my time outside. We're super grateful for Ad Motor for sponsoring today's video. I will leave a link down in the description if you guys want to go check them out. We've been super pleased with this bike and how it's worked. I mean, I've been using it basically every day, going up and down the property, going and checking on things, making sure things are going good. And then I use it every day to take Goose on runs, because, y'all, he has energy, and when he goes, he just goes. He wants to run, and there's no way I'm keeping up. So I jump on the bike and I go and I take him for his runs, take him for walks. And as you guys have probably seen from our other videos, take Zan too, because apparently Zan thinks he's a dog as well. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit different, but I wanted to just give y'all an update of kind of what is going on the farm, on the property, what our dreams and some of our goals are for the property. I would say they're kind of big. I have a lot of big dreams and goals, let alone finishing up our different pens, making some more pens for the chickens and ducks and stuff, and actually putting a shop in right there where all that tall grass is. That's supposed to be where the shop is. So we've got a lot of super fun content coming for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, sharing your love and your support. We love reading your guys' comments, and we will see y'all on the next one.